And welcome, everybody. We're back with a new episode of the Southern Wrestling Hot Topics and News podcast. It's me, Cowboy Cliff Rogers, still with all the gold, baby. And then, of course, my co host is finally back after his adventures. You know, I've been having to sub out with co host for a while, but Manu Soto looking gruesome, counting his money,
There you go.
stacks of it.
Some of us gotta, when you make bank like this, some of us have to buy new gear, have to put new things into, can't be wearing the same mask and wear the same gear all the time. You would know about that, cowboy.
Yeah, yeah. We were just talking before the camera cut on that I just got me a new pair of gear for the first time in my second time in my career. And if you remember episodes past, everybody, Bam Bam Malone, I know you're watching this right now, Bam. I got new gear. Leave me alone, okay? You can't say I only have one pair of gear anymore. I mean, you and your perfect
New
teeth
pair of
and you,
pants. Look at that.
yeah,
Look, not everybody can be as pretty as Bam Bam.
with
I've seen the pictures of him and his wife, and it's a 50-50, man. It's a toss up as to who's got the
his
prettiest hair in that group. But you know what?
long flowing hair.
He's got several pairs of gear. He's ready for several different organizations. But just like you, I believe both of you carry several straps of gold with you these days.
We do, we do. I actually just worked with Bam. This is being taped on a Sunday. On this today's the 16th, so on the 13th, Thursday, February 13th, I worked with him at a show here in Pineville, Louisiana, with
Oh,
Ephesians Pro Wrestling, and man, that was a blast. It was great finally getting to do something in the ring with him, man. I've been watching Bam Bam for a while now, and we got a lot of mutual friends. It feels like you ever have those guys in the business, Manu, where it's like you feel like you've worked them, but you'd never actually got around to working them.
oh yeah, oh yeah. And then the ones that you've actually worked, you feel like because they're subpar, some of them with the initials that are MV, they go that direction. They don't measure up to Manu, work them. And the measuring stick is just not the same, and you have to hold back with them. You have to guide them a little more.
Mm, Well, look, man, I'll tell you, it was a fun show, an awesome show, because Ephesians Pro Wrestling is one of those strange little enigmas out there. It's not just wrestling; it's ministry. It's a Christian based gospel ministry, and it was really cool to get to go do a show at Louisiana Christian University at LCU over there in Pineville, Louisiana.
Cool,
I've
nice.
talked to fans and friends alike that have never heard of anything like that, and they're like, "How does that work? Do y'all all like, you know, dress up as Bible characters? Does the flow of the match have to coincide with a Bible story?" I'm like, "No, no, we're not in there. There's no such thing as a rocks and sling match. You know, uh, I said it's just a big awesome show, but there's testimonies involved. There's a gospel presentation involved. So really glad I got to go be a part of that again. Been working with EPW even back when they were called something else. I've been working with them for a little over a year now. So that was definitely fun. I did a little triple threat action. Big, huge, super heavyweight named Guardian, and a guy that he's kind of like a mix between a rapper and a hillbilly. It's so weird. They call him HBO, Hillbilly Outlaw, and I don't understand it either. I'm sitting in the ring waiting on this guy to come out, and I see him in his gear, and I'm like, there's no way this is real. Like, what is the places wrestling will bring you? One minute you're winning straps in front of packed houses, the next minute you're wrestling a hillbilly rapper in the parking lot in 40-degree cold. You know,
Nice.
it happens that way. But
Hey,
ex-
this business will take you anywhere and everywhere. Places you never thought you wanted to be, and places you never want to go to again.
what's some of the weirdest places you've had to wrestle?
Oh man. Starting off, we wrestled in all over Houston, and I didn't care who, what, when, and where. I didn't even care how much they were paying. I just wanted exposure, time in the ring, with other guys, things like that. we wrestled, and it looked like a really huge somebody's big living room, and it was a part of a warehouse that they had kind of blocked off, and they didn't have enough people. There was 15 wrestlers on the card, and there was 5 people in the audience. So
Mm.
they moved us, and they had the ring. The ring had to have been it was half the size of a normal ring, and you couldn't hit the ropes. The ropes weren't anchored. So yeah, it was one of those.
Oh.
And then down in Mexico, there's been some interesting places that you wrestled down in Mexico because you walk into an abandoned building. They take you into the basement and through the sewage area, and you come walking out, and it's all concrete, concrete steps, concrete seating, and it looks like Mad Max. You walk through this cage, and it's all barbed wire and it's chicken wire, and you get into the ring, and all around the ring, there's nothing on the floor. It's a concrete floor, and you wonder why the wire is there and why the chicken wire is there. No, it's to protect the wrestlers from the audience because beer bottles are flying, their glass breaking everywhere. They want to get in, and it's just, it was a good match. It was a good match, but it was something that you definitely have to only do once to not appreciate it.
That's not just in Mexico. According to my trainer and the head coach of UWE, Dapper Dan, he told me that that happens in Texas in some places where there's a
Yep,
chicken wire protection for all the
yep.
drunk fans throwing bottles at you.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And you walk in and you're not sure what's going on. So basically, you would forget if you're a heel or if you're a baby face. It doesn't matter. You're trying to make sure that whoever jumps in the ring, both of you are going to be able to take care of this guy because even the referees will back out.
Oh, so
There
the
is no
refs
security.
the refs ready to go too. I mean, if a
Yeah,
mark
yeah,
gets
yeah. There is no security. The security is probably the guy at the front of the door, charging everybody $5 to get in.
speaking of, well, actually, that is on my wrestler bucket list. I want to wrestle in a place like that. Just for the feel of it, man. I mean, you feel like you're in an underground fight league, man. I mean, I always
Oh
liked
yeah,
the scummier venues as long as there's a big crowd and they're into it and there's decent production. I'm not asking for
most
like
crowds are into it.
I'm not asking for a flamethrower and a $500 pyro and all that, but as long as the production's decent, the music works, and the crowd's there, I mean, yeah, I like the crevices of the earth venues. Those make you feel a
Oh
little
yeah,
more alive.
oh yeah. So it takes you back to those true gladiator Mad Max days.
I've wrestled in a body shop before, and I was thinking like, there's got to be a hardcore match on the card. Look at all this stuff laying around to use. I mean, come on. But they took some Visqueen and they just sectioned off a part of the shop that was somewhat open, and they put a bunch of mismatched folding chairs too. You might have like a pink Hello Kitty chair out there, a Spider-Man beach chair for like a kid, a couple of folding chairs that they found, an old retired church pew. I mean, it was just whatever was sit onable was same situation like you were talking about. It was maybe 6, 7 people there. So and what make matters worse, they were live streaming this thing on Facebook, and I guess they wanted people to think like, oh no, there's people here. They're just sitting behind the camera. So the workers the wrestlers in the locker room would start getting chants going, and they would start making noise just to make it sound full.
The
And
sound bites.
I was like, man, I wasn't even a year in. I was maybe a year in, and some of the other UWE alum were out there with me, and yeah, we were just starting to get on the road, start to take outside bookings, and yeah, we were all like, guess they're not all created equal here, fellas, because we had done some cool
Nope.
ones, and then we go to this one, and I'm like, what is? And I said, well, yeah, it's Arkansas for you. This is a good old Saturday night in Arkansas.
Man. Oof. All right.
Um,
So, isn't there? you were talking about the organization you just wrestled for. Isn't there a Christian championship wrestling organization in Texas?
Same people. CWF.
Same people. Okay.
They've rebranded, and it was just time for an update, time for a change.
Okay.
So
Okay.
EPW, Ephesians Pro Wrestling, it's the same thing.
Okay.
Guys, little plug here for them. If you're in the Dallas area, they're based out of Rockwall, which is, I believe, 40-ish miles out of Dallas. And
Yep.
man, they great talent, man. They got Adam APOC Asher. He's been around for a long time. APOC has worked NWA. He's done some dark stuff for WWE before. Really entertaining, big super heavyweight. Guardian is the guy I had to tangle with. He's the current champion over there, I believe. And just subtle flex here. He's like 360 something pounds. And the cowboy here picked him up and slammed him. That happened. I felt like
Ooh.
Hogan at WrestleMania 3, brother. it
There
was
you go.
it was insane. I thought my back was gonna fly out, but it didn't. And Bam Bam Malone, even though I give him a hard time, and even though he gave me a super kick, still feel it. Bam Bam Malone's a top tier
Ah.
talent. He's NWA as well, so you can catch Bam Bam out there. He's a former EPW champion back when they were still CWF. He was holding the title.
There you go.
And of course, what's really cool about it is even with the name change, they've been around for like 25 years or so, 24. Yeah, I think 2001 is when they started. So, okay, you can
So they
breathe
got some
now.
longevity. Whew.
You can
Yeah, I'm
breathe
good.
now.
Ah.
And you need to rig you up like a little oxygen mask in that thing, so that
There
way
you
you can
go.
just wrestle in it, and you start getting blown up. You just
Nah. Walk out. Walk out. Ring. Pin. Knockout MV. Back in. Back. Back to the back. Having a nice cold one about 3 minutes later.
there you go, there you go. Oh, the EPW, they've been around a long time, and there's been guys like AJ Styles has come through there when he was young, getting
Okay.
started. Like right after the foreclosure of WCW, he went and got finished cutting his teeth there. Former NWA champion Tim Storm got his start there. Along with APOC, they were a tag team back then, still are occasionally. Uh, Man, I mean, just the list goes on. I could sit up here and try to rack my brain, but they've brought in so many dudes. Um, so yeah, definitely one to put on your list. Even if you're not that religious of a person, you're gonna love the show regardless. It's definitely family friendly and a good thing to go check out. Speaking of
There you go.
shows, right here in Louisiana,
Ooh.
UWE's getting ready to fire it back up for 2025. We're coming in hard and hot. March 1st, 5th Ward, Louisiana. I am defending my title. My brother Ruthless Devontae Adams is defending his belt.
Ooh. Woo. Woo. Ruthless. There you go. Bring him in.
Old baby Ruth is going to be putting his title on the line. Yeah, he is going to flip when he hears that soundbite.
Baby Ruth, huh? Oh, I got some memes coming up. Oh yeah, thank you so much for that. I appreciate it.
um, Dapper Dan, I think, is going to be in action. He's always there. He's always stalking the building, selling autographs. He might just be feeling frisky and go hop back in the pool. Um,
Oof,
I know Rugged
man,
Rod Price is going to be there signing autographs.
there you go.
Um,
California stud.
the California Stud, and then of
Rugged
course,
Rod Price, a California stud. One of the original members of Devastation Incorporated.
always my favorite iteration of Rod Price was when he had the black do rag and the black singlet. The ECW Rod
Oh
Price.
man.
Yeah,
Yep.
back when his bump card was getting full, so he'd just get in there and start slugging. you know, Nothing
Yep.
too fancy, just a slugfest. I always love having Rod in the locker room. He's such a sweet guy to hang out with. I remember talking to him when I first met him. I was like, "You got any advice for a young upstart wrestler here?" And he was like, "Yeah, I do." He goes, "Just you don't want to stiff nobody, but there ain't nothing wrong with being snug, baby. Get in there and be snug. And I'm like, oh, wow, I already
Yeah.
know how you work. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Snug, huh? That's what he called it. Okay.
yeah, is that what you call it? I mean, I know how they work in Japan. I mean, come on, dude. You do that many tours over there, it sticks with you.
Oh yeah.
And this is going to be a UW show that's a little different because we're bringing in some fresh faces, some outside faces. In a way, we're kind of like scouting for new permanent roster members. So, people that want a
Oh,
shot, we're bringing them in. I'm going to be defending my belt against a big, mean albino Samoan from New Orleans, Louisiana. Yeah, I know. Yeah,
that's an oxymoron, isn't it?
yeah. He's
An albino Samoan.
His name
That's
is
like a
Suge
thunderous
White. He's white as sugar.
Suge. Wow, Suge White. Got it.
He is white as paper. But you can tell he's Samoan. And I was like, man, okay. Well, your parents not let you go outside much when you were a kid. What's going on with that? The head honcho is what they call him. And I've actually wrestled him before in Mississippi. And got a win on him, but I had to kind of squeak it in. It was a roll-up win. He
Ah,
pretty mean guy. He's coming for the belt, and I'm not going to give it up without a fight at all. But I mean, I'm definitely not taking him lightly. He's a powerhouse of a man. I think, in fact, somebody told me this after our match, but I'm the only person in singles competition to ever pin him. So that's
oh,
pretty sweet, pretty
there you
cool.
go.
He's
Okay.
a
Just make
product.
sure you watch it after the show because, like when you had that show in Mississippi, the GPS messed you up. Took 3 hours the wrong way. You make sure you watch yourself after the show and you get back, because I don't know what kind of condition you're going to be in after the, Suge White.
All right, story time. He just brought it up. Story time. So there it was. It was I
The
was
Dark Knight
I,
after the match.
I was in Smiths County, Mississippi. I'm with the gatekeeper, my tag team partner, one of my best friends in the business.
Red flag number one.
Yeah, red flag number one. Cliff and gatekeeper are traveling together. It's already a recipe for disaster.
Woo.
We get done working
Too
a
nice of a
show.
duck walk into the bar. Yeah, that's how it starts.
Yeah, we get done working a show for SWA Promotions, which is a fantastic spot in Mississippi. Great talent, great shows. Been around a while, the works. We go over there and work, and we had a friend in the locker room, another wrestler that was like, "Hey man, let's go to Applebee's. Let's go eat." So we're like, "All right, let's do that." We go do that. Well, next thing you know, those 2-for-1 drafts are starting to catch up, and I was just like, "Man, it's midnight. I am not down for this 3.5 hour ride back." And he was like, "Yeah, you're right." So we went and crashed with our friend and at his place, and wake up the next day. It's a beautiful day. We drink coffee, we hang out, we tell war stories. Um, we had a great match, tag team match the night before. We got paid well. Everything is looking beautiful. And I go hop in the car. He left his car at the UWE training school, which is on Dapper Dan's property. So I'm thinking, like, yeah, let's put it in. There is an address, word for word, number for number, the same as Dapper Dan's address in Starkville, Mississippi. And idiot me over here, I'm just excited to get back home, because I'm like, hey, man, instead of coming in at 4 a.m., we're going to be home at 2 p.m. Like, this is great. So, I can still go work out. He was making plans to go eat Mexican food with his little boy. I'm like, yeah, it's going to be great. We get on the road, and we're just laughing, talking, cutting up, carrying on, listening to some 80s rock on the stereo, and next thing you know, the ride's just about over. I'm like, man, we've just been popping right through this 2.5 hours. I mean, we only got like 45 minutes left. And he starts looking around, and he's like, none of this looks familiar. Like, I've never seen that water tower before. I've never seen that decorative rooster sculpture in someone's yard before, and I'm like, oh yeah, you're right. That hmm, are we on a back road maybe? And then then he pulls up his GPS and he goes, cowboy, we're still in Mississippi. And I'm like, there's no way. Huh? So then I put in DeVille, Louisiana to try to, get us back on track. I'm like, surely we're not off track that much. We are 5.5 hours away from home. And then, of course, we'll do a little Steiner math there. You take your 5.5 hours, and then you add that to the 2.5 hours, and then basically we had a 33 and a third chance of getting back at the time we wanted to. So we got home at 8:30 p.m. and
Nice.
it was one of those rides. I'm sure you've had one of these in the car before where just the stereo goes off. I want silence so I can just sit here and stew on it. And I'm just staring forward, just and he's just kind of looking down like, man, we messed this one up. We didn't say a word to each other for like 2 hours. And we stopped at like an Arby's and ate, and we called our friend and we told him what happened, and he was just like, damn. He goes, well, what do y'all want to eat for supper? Y'all might as well just come on back and get up in the morning. I'm like, no, we got work the next day. Life of an indie
Yep.
wrestler there. We're not full timers yet. So I was like,
Wow.
we gotta truck it on back. And to make matters worse, my vehicle was in the shop, so I had to borrow my mother's SUV. She was very sweet to let me borrow it while mine was getting fixed. And oh, that was a whole argument when I return it. She looks at the speedometer and she's like, "What the hell's been going on?" And where did y'all go? And I'm like, short answer, we went to Starkville, Mississippi. She was like, I thought the show was in Smith County. I mean, I was like, it was. Um, I don't want you to think your son's that dumb, so I'm just going to say, Starkville's lovely this time of year. Have you ever seen Starkville in January? That's what we decided to do. So, yeah, definitely one of the worst experiences ever. I mean, just and of course, her being my mom, she was like, "I'm telling you, it's that damn wrestling. You've been falling on your head. You've been getting hit in the face too much." And I'm like,
Nice.
I said,
Nice.
I said, I wish I could say that's what it was. That would make at least there would be a reason behind it. But no, I think I'm just kind of dumb sometime when it comes to traveling. So, which I'm on the road every weekend now. So when you travel that much, everybody's gonna get one. It's gonna happen to someone.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
What's one of your
So I didn't mean to bring up a bad memory. I just thought it was. I just wanted to warn you that if you go back that direction or after the show coming up on March the 1st, just be careful when you put your GPS and you don't backtrack. That way you get home in time.
we actually did say on the way home that day, we were like, well, this is going to make one hell of a podcast story. So there's a. I was just trying to stack positives. I was like that. At least that's a
There you
positive
go.
right there. I said, that's all you can do in that situation. You're like, well, at least it's happening on the way home, and we're not going to miss the booking. Um, at least it's the middle of the
Sure.
day, and we're not 4 a.m. trying to turn around and get back home. And then you have to go like,
And you know me. It's not like I'm going to use it for a promo or anything come June or whatever. And it's not like me like I would remember those type of details. So I'm just, you've already put it out there. It's out there. It's said and done.
if Manu ever gets a title shot at me, then yeah, I already know that's going to be the first rattle out of the box on the microphone. I mean something like, can you make your way to the ring, or are you headed that way towards the auto zone across the street? I'm just making sure you get out here and not over there.
Woo.
Have y'all ever had any huge mix-ups on the road back in the day?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Because remember, in the early '90s, mid '90s, 2000s, you didn't have the GPS. You didn't have all that. You had either a key map of the city or you had a regular old fashioned, old school fold out map put it on the hood of the car or whatever restaurant you're in, and take your marker and try to figure out the quickest route to get there. And then you figure out you got to stop at this city, you got to be in this city the next day, you got to be in this city in this state, and then you got to backtrack. Okay, let's go.
See, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I have like the opposite of a photographic memory. Like I'll be driving through somewhere that I grew up in and still just to make sure have to put the I won't use it the whole time, but I'll GPS just to make sure I'm going the right direction. I no, I would have been the guy back then that's just hanging out for the ride. Let somebody else do the navigating here. Um,
Yeah, when they came up with the original GPS, the Garmin, the little box that you just put up there, that was okay, but it didn't coordinate with the maps or road closures or brand new open roads. And sometimes a 2 hour drive was about a 4 hour drive because it took you the long way. You didn't realize, hey, they actually made a road through town now, and you can go through town instead of going around town. So yeah, there was different different routes to take. I'll just say that, especially when you're trying to figure this out on the side of the road at 4 o'clock in the morning. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember my parents had one of those when I was a kid, and you actually had to go to like Walmart or Radio Shack or something and get the new like 2001 to 2004 updated chip
Yep.
and put the new
Yep.
chip in there to get it to. And see, nowadays the phones make it so much easier. But I say that, but here I am with the modern
Maybe you
technology.
guys should get one of those phones or get something. What was you have an iPhone or something? What happened?
Oh, I was iPhoning it, man. But
Oh, okay. Well, there's flag number two. All
they're
right.
getting too helpful because this is what happened. I text the address of the UWE school to several people, people that were interested in learning how to wrestle and stuff, and I'd be like, "Yeah, here's where the ring's at. Here's Dapper Dan's phone number. Get it set up. There you go." So I've sent that to people enough to where it just pulls up out of my text messages like, "Hey Siri, found this, and is this it?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's the address." Well, it also was like, "Oh, here's that same address right over here." It's like maybe a 30 minutes difference from this distance to this distance. So it's like, this obviously must be the one you want. Here you go. And I'm like, okay, it's not even taking into account the state and town anymore. It's just like, well, the numbers are right. It's like it's getting lazy
You
on you.
saw the you saw the road numbers and the name, and that's all it was. It didn't tell you, oh, different state, or you're still in Mississippi. You're not going to make it to Louisiana.
Well, and just if I would have been by myself, it probably wouldn't have happened. But I'm in there cutting up with my friend. We're talking about our match the night before. The promoter had already made a highlight reel of our match, so we're sitting there. I'm driving, looking at my suplexes and stuff. Like, oh yeah, I looked really good in that shot. And that, yeah. And when we're not even paying attention that we're going west and not east. So I'll tell you, the next time we went out to Mississippi and wrestled again, it was for Battle Zone Heavyweight Championship or Battle Zone Championship Wrestling, which is where I have this belt at. Um, we went and stayed with that same friend after the Battle Zone show. Next morning, we get up and he goes, "All right, do you need me to, do you need to follow me until I get you headed east?" And then I was like,
Wow.
"No, I'm good." And of course, gatekeeper's like, "Oh yeah, yeah, we're gonna go east and not, west. We're not gonna do that problem again." So, I was like, "Yeah, this is gonna be one of those things that, when we're like in our 60s and still going to shows and stuff. That's gonna follow me around forever. I think I'm a marked
Still
man
talking
now.
about it. Yeah.
I'm a marked man." Oh man, but yeah, UWE really excited for the March 1st show. It's going to be in Fifth Ward, Louisiana. All you Louisiana viewers out there, Fifth Ward, Louisiana, which is
Oh, nice.
basically
Nice.
Marksville. Um, I always have big crowds there, man. I can just kind of I can smell it. I can feel it. We're going to have a 250, 300 seater crowd in there. I can taste it.
There you go. There you go.
We got some new debuts coming. We got a guy from he's actually one of my arch nemesis is nemesis. I don't know. One of my rivals in the state of Mississippi, the Pharaoh of Funk. He is a Battle Zone original. He is, in fact, I don't know if his knowledge or not, but he's the owner. He's the owner of Battle Zone. Yes, he is he's the top guy over there. Well, actually, I'm the top guy because hello, there's the belt. But anyway, we're bringing the Pharaoh of Funk into UWE. He's a character, man. He's something else. He little white dude with he's about 5 feet, about Ruthless's height, and he comes out there with the Ultimate
Oh,
Warrior
is that
bands
full? We're
on.
talking full grown?
Yeah,
Is
he's
that
like
full grown?
he is full grown. He's maybe like 2 inches taller
Oh,
than
okay.
Ruthless. So
Oh, okay.
I was like,
Whew.
you ought to just
Whole 5 foot. Dang.
put them on the card together, and they're going to think it's a midget wrestling show, and that might draw more. People love the
Oh
midgets.
man, see, Ruthless. I didn't say one word about it, Ruthless. I was not talking about a height restriction or anything else, or vertically challenged. Nope.
Well, they actually have wrestled each other before at Battle Zone. They did a lumberjack match. I was one of the lumberjacks out there, and when one of them got thrown out, I was just like, "Here you go, little buddy. Going, you need me to hold the rope for you? There you go."
Wow.
But
I got a feeling there's going to be payback on March 1st for you.
yeah, I'm sure. I mean, there always is. I've always said or done something to anger somebody. So at this point, it's just another day at the office, another day at the wrestling office for me. Not sure who the Pharaoh's going to be
What are the
fighting.
names? I was going to say, what's the card looking like?
I'm not sure who he's going to be fighting, but you've never seen this before. He comes out to like hip hop club music. He's got his Ultimate Warrior streamers on, and it's the most over thing in Mississippi. They think he is a neon wearing Stone Cold Steve Austin. They love that guy over there. So I'm hoping
There you go.
that it translates over here because any show. I mean, anytime you can get the show over is great. Too many people nowadays are worried about getting themselves over. No, you got to get the show over, man. So I'm glad that the powers that be introduced a new face, especially somebody that's a fan favorite. Of course, in Mississippi, he's yesterday's news because I'm the man at the top of the mountain, and
Ooh.
we're going to be settling our rivalry at another show. I'm going to go ahead and advertise another show real quick. Battle Zone Championship Wrestling Widow Fest. It is a 2-night event. It is their WrestleMania. It's March
Oh,
15th and 16th. Or no, 14th and 15th. There we go. Let me get my dates right. March 14th and 15th. And that is going to be when I finally put the title on the line against the Funk Master. And not sure
uh-oh.
what that stipulation is going to be, but I'm about ready to get him out of my hair, man. He's been jacking with me since November, since I won that belt. So they like to say I'm the bad guy over there, but is there really a bad guy in wrestling? I think we're all just trying to do what it takes to win, right?
Bad guys, good guys. There's no that's such a blurry line now. It's just, do you connect? Do you not connect? How do you connect? Do they love to hate you? Do they hate to love you? What is it? I mean, I've never experienced that myself. You know,
I was pretty heelish first time I ever came out there at Battle Zone, and all my Louisiana and Texas fans are like, "You heelish? Well, yeah, it can be done." And but you still got people wanting model. You still got women wanting to take pictures with me. So I think it's jealousy. I think that the Funk's jealous that that I'm
and just think about it. You got the gold. You got two sets. You got two outfits. Not just one anymore. You got two. So there's that's worth the double price of admission right there.
yeah. I might I might start the match in my old gear and then and then have the new on. You know what I mean?
There you go. I bet you Bam Bam's never done that.
Yeah, Mr. Malone, Bam Malone. Yeah, you want to call somebody else out for their not having enough gear? You freaking perfect specimen of a human being. It's not fair.
Whoa, don't why are you holding a grudge, man?
I
I don't
don't know.
understand. Why are you holding a grudge? Why are you holding a grudge like that?
I don't
You
know,
know,
man.
it's not like you have a 30-something year rivalry with somebody, you know, who's that direction, you know, another, and it's always a pretty boy. It's always a pretty boy that comes out there. Can he wrestle? No. Does he look good? Yeah, okay. But you know what? Everybody can, say their prayers and take their vitamins every day, brother. It just doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter, But sometimes those pretty boys, you gotta put them in their place. Not that I have any issues with anybody.
Uh-huh. Oh man. Well, look, let me tell you. Since we've done one of these podcasts, man, there has been some stuff heat up on the indie scene, especially down here in the South. The WWE ID program is in full swing, and folks, and especially the folks that are like 19 to 24 in the scene right now, they're getting gobbled up. They're getting swept up left and right, and I'm running into more and more of them out there. So I don't think it's ever been a better time to be in the business, and I don't think it's ever been a better time to be an indie wrestling fan than right now. Because you never know who you're going to see pop up at these shows and stuff. Booker T's place, Reality of Wrestling, they just had Joe Hendry at their last show at the end of December. He's the current TNA Impact
Wow.
champion. He hadn't won it yet,
Yep.
and he popped up at that thing. I'm seeing that Nick Nemeth, who formerly known as Dolph Ziggler, he's back on the Indies.
Yep. Yep.
Taking bookings here and there. So, man, always be sure you check out our website, Southern Wrestling, Southern Wrestling HTN.net. And then, of course, find us on Facebook and get yourself a copy of the magazine. Why don't you? It's on Amazon. Download you a copy of that thing, and you'll see where we put show listings and stuff. Man, go catch a show. I've been talking about the Mississippi scene and some Louisiana shows, but Texas is always going to be a hotbed. I'm getting ready to go back out there as
Oh
well.
man, can't wait
Um,
for the Austin, Texas show, June 7th. Man, cannot wait to be back in Austin. Oof.
June 7th, UWE is going to be in Austin, Texas. Yeah, I know. We're leaving the nest of Central Louisiana, and that's a thing too. Of like a lot of the guys on the roster, myself included, we're no strangers to the Texas scene. So it's like, yeah, it's new for the company, but it's not new for the workers. So we're going to go out there, we're going to work them. We're not going to get worked, and we're gonna tear the house down. That is going to be at a fitness expo, a powerlifting bodybuilding expo. So all you gym freaks, gym fanatics out there, I mean, and there's going to be a little something out there for everybody. We'll have more information on venue and stuff. But
Yeah. And
man,
that it's the Palmer Arena Center. It is huge. You're going to have powerlifting, bodybuilding, CrossFit, and of course, professional wrestling.
yeah, had to throw a claw up there
Oh,
because oh, I'm sorry, I forgot.
oh,
Yeah,
oh.
that's a calling card of the guy you don't like. I, that was an homage to Texas. That was not a shot at you, I promise.
Is that what that is? The old sportatorium? Okay. All right. I got it. I got it. All right.
Oh man, we're so lucky to have some guys that were influential in the Texas scene back in the golden age of it. James Beard, who was a ref for the Von Erichs at World Class. He's in the Von Erich movie Iron Claw, and he's our head booker. So it's something about wrestling in Texas with James Beard there just makes it feel a little more prestigious. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
you might think you had a good match, but don't celebrate. Don't go pop a cold one yet. You got to go to Cool Daddy James and be like, Mr. Beard, how was my match? And if it's all right, well then no, it sucked. If it was if he don't say anything and he just gives you the, well then, oh yeah, you nailed it. You knocked it out of the park.
Good match.
I've noticed that with James as a producer is the less he says, the better it was. You know what I mean? If he just kind of gives you the nod, just the wise old sage nod, well then, hey man, you Road Warrior Pop, you got it. If it's a well, yeah. And I've also seen him come unglued on some people before. So as long as you're not getting that last one, I remember at a UWE show, it was our last one for 2024. Not going to name names, not going to put anybody on blast, but one of the guys did something a little wrong. They went overtime. That's a big thing in wrestling. All you wrestlers out there, I've been guilty of it too, but stick to your freaking times, man. Stick to your times. Unless your main event, okay, then you've earned that, okay. But don't be giving us no 20-minute Iron Man match for the first match and eating into everybody else's stuff, because then we got to like cut promos. If you're doing a promo, don't tell us your life story out there, okay. Stick to your times. So first match went like triple the amount of time it was supposed to go, and I remember actually I had some podcast equipment that we used for this set up out there for the commentary, and Rugged Rod Price wasn't able to make it for that one, so it was just going to be James Beard, one-man show on commentary. And he came walking to the back, headset in hand, tosses it to me. I was like, "What's up?" And he was like, "I'm sorry, you're just going to have to get some guys to come do that in post. I'm about to go get in someone's ass."
Oh,
And of course, me over here, I'm not going on to the main event. That's actually the show I won the belt. So, I was like, all right, well, I'm going to go finish getting in the zone. Not really. I've snuck around. I'm like, I'm gonna go give this a listen. I want to stir the pot here and see what happened. So, it's always, being in the wrestling locker room when you see the producer making a warpath to somebody that messed up. It's like we're all kids in kindergarten, like, oh, he went to the office. I wonder what he did. Luckily, the guy didn't get fired, but I thought it was coming. I could feel it coming.
nice, nice.
What is your? Have you ever had a close call with a promoter or anything?
Oh, oh yeah, oh yeah. When I first started, 6 months into, maybe 6 months, 9 months into the business with Ivan, I started with Ivan, WWA, back at the Houston, Texas, Sam Houston Coliseum. He even called the spot. We were down towards South Texas. Called the spot. I think I told you about this one time. They locked the door on us. We couldn't get in, couldn't do the run in, come in, get into the ring. Starts just, and I was doing my Frankie the Thumper gimmick at the time. And Frankie was just this unhinged, crazy guy that you let out of the basement. Get into the ring. Ivan's yelling and screaming. I mean, putting those fists and forearms on my back. And believe me, he is not being cuddly and soft about it either. He is laying them in. You effed up the spot. You effed up the spot. I mean, he's doing it each and every time, each and every time. Boom, 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 boom. So I'm green. I'm like, okay, I take it, I sell it. Then I come up and I give him one shot back because I'm like, okay, he doesn't, Frankie's crazy. He doesn't want Frankie to just lay down. Oh man, I unleashed the devil at that point. I got the Polish hammer about 3 or 4 times. Boom, boom, boom. Took a powder out of the ring. Everything else. The dressing room. When we finally get the doors up, I'm in the building. He's like, "All right, you did good. That's not bad. That's not bad." He goes, I like that shot you gave me." He goes, "But it was a little too stiff." I was like, "So you're not mad or you're mad?" "Oh no, you effed up the spot, but then you made up for it. You did good." I'm like, "Okay." He goes, "Good news is you get to fly home with us because I was going to leave you here. Thank you."
Oh, well, that's always
I
good
was like,
news. Yeah,
I
that's
was like, I
always great
appreciate
news.
that.
Uh, some
I was 19 years old.
I had to do that one time with a guy in Florida. Um, God, you gotta keep the ship from sinking however you can, And I'm sorry, but I think the ship was starting to sink a little. I mean, I've talked about this place before. A fantastic promoter named Norm Kaiser out there in Florida. He had Ultimate Victory Wrestling going, and this was last summer.
Ah,
I'm
yes.
I'm working a TV taping, and of course it's TV, so like it's got to look good. And he really old school, so they wanted a lot of holds, a lot of chain. Classic wrestling is what he was looking for. So the babyface I'm working, he's got me in a like a headlock, and it is the loosest headlock in the freaking world, man. I had enough room to where, like, I could reach in here and scratch my beard. If I had just sitting there doing my taxes on my phone if I had to. I was just like, no, this ain't it. So I'm actually having to grab old dude's wrist and act like I'm selling and like pull it just to get the daylight out. And I'd call something and he would just not know. And I'm like, okay, all right, he's starting to piss me off a little bit. second time doing a second time doing a taping. I don't want to be marked as that guy that can't do TV. So and of course Norm knew I was the more experienced of the two. So he was like, I need you to carry this. I'm like, okay. Well, I didn't know I had to ventriloquist it. So, I'm over here grabbing old dude by the waist and like making him like walk around, lead me around. I'm like, don't let me grab the rope. And he's like, what? Oh, there's so many people here. And I was like, oh my God, come here, son. I'd move him over.
Wow.
I'm like, give me a headlock takedown. Can you do that? And then so finally, when this headlock shine is over with, when he's done shining up with his little headlock routine, the guy had a tremendous body. You know what I mean? And so he had the look. I just didn't know what was going on in there. So I grab him and I was like, all right, clothesline, my turn. I'm taking over. Clothesline. I shoot him off, and I gave him. I mean, Father Stan Hansen would have applauded me there.
Oh,
I mean,
there you go.
this was fresh out of Stan Hansen's playbook, and I rocked him. I rocked him, and now the dude can like bench 295. He's got huge pecs, so I'm like, he'll be all right. He's got some airbags there. He'll be okay. So, boom, and he's on the ground like. I was like, come here, we're not done. And then I pick him up, boom, 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 give him something else like sidewalk slam. Let's go. I was like, you better jump too, or I'm gonna hit you again. Pick him up, sidewalk, bam. I'm getting all my heat in. Everybody's loving it. Getting some boos, getting some cheers too, because we're not that. Florida's still the South. Cowboys do well over there, so
Oh yeah.
I'm popping it in there, and then I call for him. I was like, all right, kid. Take two, give it back. So, boom, two thunderous, big show like chops. I go in there for another Stan Hansen lariat. He ducks it, and then he just kind of stands there. And I'm like, you have till the count of two to give me a chop back, or it's over with. We ended up getting through the match. Wasn't terrible, and I actually got paid bonus pay on that one. They were like, man, thank you for that. And I'm like, hey,
For walking him through.
I was like, that was that ad. Wrestlers are always going to say, "Yeah, I'm in there working." No, no, that was work. That was real. That was work. All right. But that kid's actually doing a little bit better now. So I like to
Good.
think he learned a thing or
Oh,
two.
I was gonna say, hopefully he learned from that because you know what? That irks me when you get the pretty boys with the pretty body. They got the look, but they can't wrestle. I've experienced that several times myself with a pretty boy and just can't work. And you're like, why are you in here? And then you're like, okay, I get it. You got the bodybuilding looks, you got the Goldilocks, you got the flowing hair, whatever. But the Mister, I pick things up, I put things down. I pick things up, I put things down. That mentality doesn't work. It just you got to be able to work the match. You know,
Yeah,
not that I'm bringing up anybody's name or initials.
yeah, yeah.
I'm just saying.
This is just
I'm just
purely coincidental.
yeah, because MV was a lot like that, when we first started out. But that's okay.
Old MV actually suffered a loss. He didn't get pinned, but he was in a tag team, and the team suffered a loss back at UWE Christmas Chaos, December 13th, 2024. And I thought about you. I was like, Manu would be grinning ear to ear right now if he was here to see this.
Oh yeah.
He came out there with his gladiator gear on, his big shiny sword and his helmet, and of course he was doing a little heel work, which was weird to see, but hey, he made a good one.
Oh, really?
He got out there and said the Dallas Cowboys are the superior NFL team, and then boo, and I was like, okay, cheap shot, but it works. And
Okay.
of course, his new tag team partner, the Aquila Wolf, he's a UWE graduate. Young.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say who was the sacrificial lamb in the tag team?
Have you seen Aquila work before? I think you've been around.
No, have not.
Okay, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. He's one of our latest graduates there from the academy, and man, that kid he's gonna end up being something, if he can just refine the rough edges, Not that I'm just the best worker ever, but if he could just refine those rough edges.
What the fuck? Are you serious?
Hey man, where'd you go?
I'm trying to figure out where I'm at because all of a sudden, where am I at? Boom, boom, where you at? Where you at? Here we are. All right, there we
And
go.
he's
Woo,
back.
he's back. Ah,
Good old technology.
all right. Took a luau break there for a second. Had to get some pineapple juice. All right.
Yep. Had to go to the spa for a minute, come on back.
You know, I'm surprised at the show in Louisiana in December that MV, they let him out of the nursing home with all that gear. I thought somebody would be worried about him cutting himself. You know,
Ah,
but I guess not.
they only let him have dull swords.
Oh, okay, good,
Yeah,
good, good.
it's not allowed to. Yeah, actually, what was pretty funny was it wasn't his sword. It was Aquila's sword because he does like a Viking gimmick, and he had a sword and an axe, and also a helmet. And he was like, "Hey, man, we should like team together. We each got helmets." And then he just looks at his props and he goes, "Let me get that sword." And I'm like, that's a nonchalant way of like, "Hey, this is mine now." And he walked
This is
out with
the sword. Wow.
I was like, I'm sitting in Gorilla watching him go out, and I'm like, did he just jack that kid's sword? Is that what?
Yes, he
Is
did.
that what just happened? Like, I was like, man, let me start teaming with another cat, like a younger cowboy wrestler, and I'll be like, oh, are those Spurs? These are mine now. I'm walking out with
Let me get those.
these. Yeah.
You got to earn these back.
But man, they faced a heck of a team. It was Ricka Wildley and his tag team partner Ethan Sorrow, and the family affiliated,
Oh,
and epic finish. It pretty great match. I'm not gonna lie. It was like a
okay.
Samoa drop neck breaker combo, and Ricka came flying off the top rope for the neck breaker, and beautiful finish. Look it up on YouTube. It's a UWE Christmas
Okay.
Chaos, and yeah, but MV did not take the pin. He was kicked off the apron while the pin was taking place. So because God forbid he get pinned. Right, that's not happening.
So no more Mr. Blessed and Unbeaten, huh?
Well, technically he didn't get beat.
But if you're in a tag team and your tag team partner gets pinned, yeah,
Yeah, see,
that's a lot. That's a loss. That's a loss for the team.
that's a loss for the team. You're right.
Not that
I
I would bring something up like that, in a promo, in the near future. Not that I would bring that up.
Hey, it was a first
But
time for me. I was like, oh my God, Mark lost. What? Like, huh? And of course, I even run up to the booker, James Beard. I'm like, you did book that, right? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, huh? It happened. It's a Christmas miracle.
there you go.
No, I think they're going to be a pretty good team together, though. Mark and Aquila.
Okay.
Going to start running as the Gladiators. See what happens there.
Nice.
Going after those
Nice.
vacant UWE tag team titles. Um,
Ugh. Okay.
I would love for a good strong team and this is an open call out to anybody in any indie wrestlers out there in the South, man. If you want to come get booked at UWE, please, I want a good, strong, over tag team to come put some prestige back on those belts. They were vacated. They've been vacated for a while, and when Ruthless Devontae Adams was teaming with Prince Fontenot, they were Royal Pain,
Yep.
and man, they had the tag division looking pretty, and they broke up and it's hard in the indies to book teams. It just is, because not everybody wants to be a tag team wrestler. Everybody wants to be a superstar
Right.
on their own. So you just with a lack of teams had to vacate it, and I'm glad we kind of did because I'm a big believer in I don't necessarily like a random put together team that night to go out there and compete for the belts. Like, what have they done to earn a tag shot?
To earn that. Right.
So I'm glad that we're starting to bring in some teams. There's the Hosey brothers in Mississippi. Me and the Gatekeepers knocked them in the head a few times. Two big mean dudes. Actually, they're not that mean. They're they like to dance and goof around a lot. But two big strong bulldozers. They're going to be coming in. They can work. Great work there. Got the bad boys over in Texas, Denzel the Dream and Rodzilla. They work for WWA and League of Lions. Thinking about bringing them in as well. That's what I hear. So I'm ready for the UWE to get a solid tag team going. And if the Gladiators have to be the guys to take the belts off the shelf and start putting a name to it, so be it. But just like I pride myself on making this belt mean a little something, I'd like those belts to start meaning something, man.
Absolutely. Absolutely. They have
I,
to. You can't just throw them on for a weekend, a month, whatever. You know, throw them on to a valid, true tag team, especially in the tag team division. You have to, because when you get a good team, they're solid. They can work. They don't have to talk to each other. They already know the movements and everything else. It is amazing to watch.
it is. There's a lot of people that just prefer watching tag team wrestling, and it's not just
Right.
because there's four guys out there. It's because the chemistry between all four, the psychology changes. It's a whole different ball game sometime with tag team
Yep.
psychology. Me and Gatekeeper are a tag team, but we're kind of off doing our own things right now. I'm
Yeah.
I'm the guy on top of the mountain right now. He just lost his light heavyweight belt and probably going to be trying to get that back. I know in Mississippi we can't do our tag thing because I'm the heavyweight champion over there, and he is the Battle Zone Junior heavyweight champion right now at
Ah.
Battle Zone. So
Okay.
it. I tell people all the time, the Desperados, me and Garrett, or me and Gatekeeper, the Desperados, we are basically like DX. We uh we come together on special occasions, Like you had Triple H being Triple H, you had Shawn Michaels being Shawn Michaels, and then like for Raw 25th anniversary or something, you might get the DX reunion. So I was like, that's
Yeah.
that's that's kind of where we're at right now. I mean, we still team, but we're not what you would call a permanent fixture right now. Maybe one day it'll happen. Um, we actually
Not
have
to say it's not there. The chemistry is there, the work is there, the history is there. I mean, but it is sometimes it's a little tough when you get that gold and you're carrying straps. You know, other organizations and your weekends are booked, everything else you got obligations, and if the opportunity comes around, it comes around. If not, yeah, as you know, your first priority is to defend that strap, and you've got to make sure you represent each and every time. Not to say he couldn't come out, give a little hand, make sure the other champ in the organization is doing just as well. Oh hey, these guys used to tag team together. Okay, that's why they're watching each other's back. Not to say that that couldn't happen.
well, I'll tell you what was pretty special. And it was very unexpected. It wasn't planned at all. It was 100% shoot, and it's one of those little special. The crowd probably didn't know what was going on, but I knew, and it was pretty sentimental. But December 13th, Christmas Chaos. I beat X Storms for this title, and X had held on to this thing for over 500 days. So, and he's a
Oof.
very great wrestler. He's going to end up going somewhere because he's got the youth on his side. I think he's only like 21. So he's definitely got youth, and X Storms. Anytime me and him do something, it's a great match. Whether we love each other or hate each other that night, it's a great match. So we just get done tearing the house down. I finally got my hands on the belt that means the most to me because it's my home base, and I'm in there celebrating. And I look at the front of the stage, because Ruthless won the light heavyweight belt that night. So we're in there, the two babyface champions. We've won belts. We're pandering. We're working the hard cam, and then as I'm working the hard cam, I turn around and look, and I see my tag partner standing there with his belt from Mississippi, and he just kind of just gave me the nod and held his up with me, and he was way over there. And I was in the ring, and he actually called an audible on that. He went and asked James Beard. He's like, "Hey, I'm not going to go muddle it up because heel baby thing." He goes, "But can I walk out to the stage?" And he was like, "Yeah, sure." So he walked out there and just held his up with me, and I kind of noticed him, and then I give him the point back, and everything, and that was really cool, because at the end of the day, no matter where we're at, that's going to be one of my best friends in the business. We got the craziest stories together and stuff. From getting lost somewhere in Mississippi to to going to Florida for a TV taping, and then staying up all night on the porch of the Airbnb drinking beer and not going to sleep. Uh, and then the third man in our car was mad because he had to drive us all the way back the next day because we couldn't drive. So, uh, you know, shutting down Applebee's after a show together. So that was it was really special. Having one of my best wrestling friends out there, just kind of do the toast with me, way over there by the entrance curtain was pretty sweet. So yeah, that's wrestling is just art imitating life, man. That's how it works.
There you go. There you go. And you're hoping at some point in time, with as much work and as dedication and as much heart and soul as you put into this, you want this art to be your permanent life, and that's what you're looking to do. You guys are doing it, man. You're doing it. You're on your way. You're doing it. You're paving that road, and you're just you're carving everything out.
Yeah, 2025. We're only 2 months in, and I'm hoping by the end of this year, I get a rub from either NWA or hopefully TNA. So any of you folks that are affiliated with those folks, if you're watching this, hello, me right here. Yeah, waiting for my shot. But I'm keeping my calendar full. Getting ready to go back to Center, Texas, which is a place I've wrestled before. It's you remember Derek Chancellor, one of our old guests
Yes,
from
sir.
WWA.
Yes, sir.
They're running a big
WA.
all cage all the time, caged chaos, baby. All cage matches, and I'm going to be
Nice.
doing a little grudge match with a guy named Joey Garcia, Juicy Joey. I wrestled him last year twice. Once in December to end the year, and then the time before that, I believe it was maybe October or so. But man, me and him tore the house down twice. I beat him, he beat me. So this is the rubber match. It's going to be settled in a cage. So that is March 8th in Center, Texas. Be sure you're out there if you're a Texas wrestling fan. It's going to be at the Wyndham Civic Center. Big, beautiful building, man, and they got it going on. They got the the drop down projector screens, projectors everywhere, entrance videos, coal spark machines. I mean, it's going to be insane. So those are the kind of shows I love doing. And then of course we've got things going on in Mississippi as well. So be sure you follow me on Facebook, social media, Instagram, and also Southern Wrestling Hot Topics and News. We'll be posting some good indie bookings. That's kind of the whole reason we exist, right? Putting the indies
Yep.
out there.
Yep.
Uh,
Hey, without the indies, the big leagues don't exist because everybody started off indie.
there's a pretty awesome article in issue 2 that's out right now. Our winter 2025 issue is available right now on Kindle, and James Beard wrote a like a 9-page article. It's a fat boy, but he wrote a big article on just what it takes to be a successful indie promotion and kind of the history of it. And all of you promoters or people that are thinking about maybe using your tax money to start to start a federation, all you people that want to get into it, read that article, man. It is God, that is like a how to almost. He talks about how when old Vince McMahon was coming through building his super federation, the WWF, a lot of the guys had to go back to work. Mechanic, security guard, teacher, cop, whatever you did. Some of them were fortunate enough to go to Japan. He talks about him and Rod Price and all them going over to Japan and working. And he said that, and he kind of talks about the transition into kind of what the indie scene is now, and his 2 cents on what it takes. And guys, you have to understand he's in high demand, especially in Texas. TSW, Texas Style Wrestling. There's a reason it's so good, is because he's the man in the chair, plotting things out, or one of them anyway. So Southern Wrestling Hot Topics News Winter 2025 issue. You got Ricka Wildley's crazy, colorful clown self on the cover. You can't miss it. Read that James Beard article, man. You are going to learn some things. Even if you're not looking to promote and you're just a fan, you are going to learn some stuff reading that one. I learned some stuff reading that one, and I see James all the time. I was like, whoa, man, where's these nuggets of wisdom when you're in our locker room? What's going on? We have to pay extra for that to get you to say those?
Nice.
I was thinking for the June show in Austin, and you and your old 30+ year rival Mark Valiant go at it. Y'all ought to have a belt made just for that match. Oh, is that your pre-workout? Getting pumped?
I know my Hawaiian special.
Oh, okay.
I know he already has a belt. That's Mr. Blessed and Unbeaten. But I don't want a belt from Walmart. Aisle H8. You know,
Ooh.
being brought in. Not trying to stir the pot or anything, but it's got to be worth the while. It really does, because that's not a it's not a match about trying to finish anybody's story, trying to figure out which bloodline or blood lineage you're a part of. It's not about anything else. It's a 35-year just arch nemesis legacy, pretty boy versus the crazy guy. Both have evolved over all these years, and it's still no different. Pretty boy, 70, however old he is, 78, 79 years old, coming in from the nursing home. They let him out for the day. And still the crazy old other guy over here on this side. And you bring the two together, and man, that's oil and water. You get them in that ring, and that's just oil and water. Whether it's the 301st match, the 303rd, 305th match, whatever Steiner math you want to use, however many times we met in that ring, it's still the same. And I don't care about the outcome. I don't care about anything else. I care about inflicting damage and just letting him know that this is never going to end until one person says, I quit.
I would. Oh, so is that an implication that this might be an I Quit match? Hello.
I don't know. I don't know what his extensive vocabulary is. I'm not sure if he understands, if he comprehends. When the nursing aide comes in and gives him his meds for the afternoon and says, "Hey, Mr. Mark, your tapioca pudding's ready." And he's like, "Okay, I put things up and I put things down." And then he has to come over and get ready. So I don't know. I'm willing to do whatever.
The heat.
Manu, all I know is Manu's going to be there. Manu's going to be there. If he's there, they roll him in, whatever they have to do, check his blood pressure before they put the mask on him. Makes no difference to me.
Man, well, you see Manu, normally you'd have a 50-50 chance at winning this match. But then you take into the account that he's a genetic freak, and then you add Kurt Angle into the mix. By the end of the day, you have a 33 and a third chance of winning. I think that's how it goes,
Sounds
anyway.
good to me. That sounds like a winning chance to me, man. If I'm going with that math, that sounds perfect to me. You
Man,
put the California stud, Rugged Rod Price, in my corner, watching my back. We bring in Devastation Incorporated, resurrected again. Pay homage to the General. Rest in peace. That's all it needs to be. That's all there needs to be.
Rod Price actually has. This is not going to be his first go round managing. He managed Dapper Dan at the UWE Summer Tsunami Show in July
Yes,
2024.
we did.
Also in Fifth Ward, so we haven't been to Fifth Ward since July. March 1st will be our first time back. So the crowd is hot and ready for some wrestling. Going to be some live music there as well. The Superchargers, they're a local rock band, going to be
Nice.
playing everybody's entrances and stuff. So I remember that. I thought Mr. Rod was just there hanging out, seeing his buddy's promotion, and then I see him t-shirt and jeans with his bucket hat on,
Yep.
go hopping gorilla. And I'm like, oh, what's going on here? Let's go watch this. And
Yeah.
slickest finish, man. He's over there distracting the ref. He has these long, long arms, and he's just like, hey, man, look, you just do what you're doing. Okay, you're a terrible ref, but and he just hands the gimmick right over the ref's head, and then loaded dapper tapper, bam, 1, 2, 3.
There you go.
That's all you need. So, yeah, the
That's
fact
old
that
school sportatorium just making its way back.
you have Rod coming out with you, yeah, I'm gonna have to flip the math. I think Mark has a 33 and a third chance of winning this here.
Mark can bring out whoever he wants. He can bring out. I don't even care. I ain't even gonna name names. I could care less because it don't make no difference to me. Make no difference to me because guess what? Mr. Blessed and Unbeaten? Nah, not
I
gonna
will
happen.
say, I hope I have legs like him at his age, man. He still is able to pull off the trunks. I mean, hey, I'm in my later 20s and I can't pull off trunks. So at least there's that going on.
Well, say your prayers, take your vitamins every day, and go to GNC, go wherever you need to go and pick up your stuff. You're good, man. Just make sure you take it. Make sure you take something for your prostate too. That's important at that age.
Make sure it doesn't get to the size of a grapefruit or anything, and you ought to be fine.
Yeah, because then you can't wear the full tights. You got to wear some like little skivvy shorts or maybe a gladiator skirt. So you can walk right. Oh, that's right. He does wear a gladiator skirt. Never mind.
Yeah. These days he's got his little leather tassels hanging off there, man.
Hmm.
It works, whatever. So,
I hope him and Bam Bam, the two pretty boys, the older one and the younger one. I hope they're watching this podcast.
I want a match with Bam Bam Malone so we can go all the way through. The other night at Ephesians Pro Wrestling, we didn't wrestle each other per se, but I ran in there to try to stop some nefarious, underhanded things from happening in the title match, and I ended up giving a big hellacious shoulder tackle to Guardian and bumped him out of the ring. Turn around, I get super kicked by Bam Bam. So if that's how you want to play it, Bam, this means war. I don't care if it's for my belt at my place, your belt at your place, no belt at some random place. We need to go all the way because I need to see if I can hang with Mr. Gold Girls and Glory, the Triple G, Bam Bam Malone. Because
Oh, okay.
we got the little friendly rivalry competition here. You got me, I'm gonna get you. But I will say, keep your eyes on Bam Bam Malone because you just might see him on your TV set coming on USA Network one day, man. That guy, he
I
has.
believe he's coming up in a couple of NWA shows too. As a matter of fact.
Well, TSW, we put this in the magazine in the first issue, in the fall 24 issue last October. But he is part of TSW, which is now an NWA affiliate. So yeah, yeah. That
Yep.
door's been opened for him, and you know, there's not a whole lot of guys out there I've got to look up to. And I mean, he's way taller in person, man. I'm like, bam, what are you, 6'3", 6'4"? What's going on over here, man? I mean, I'm 6'1", and with boots, it's closer to 6'2". And I was like, okay, not intimidated, whatever. Make sure your hair doesn't get caught in this Father Stan Hansen lariat I'm about to throw.
There you
I'll knock
go.
you back down. So, well, folks, that's going to do it for another episode. Thank you all for tuning in. The podcast is back. We're going to start hitting it every week again. We took a little extended holiday break. Our holiday break ran into February, but we've been busy. We've been busy, man. But the
Yep.
magazine has never taken a back seat. The issue hit on time. It's on Kindle, and we bought all the equipment to make the physicals because we didn't want to have to outsource to a print company. And wouldn't you know it, the equipment quit working. It must have been from China. So we sent it back and got our money back.
Man.
Yeah, my business partners were not happy, but the new stuff is finally in. So those physical copies are going to be. Bear with us, folks. When you're trying to print off hundreds of copies on your own, and until we can get a fixed method of, okay, this is how it's going to work. But that's why they make Amazon. So download it in the meantime on Kindle. Southern Wrestling Hot Topics and News Winter 2025 edition. And let's see, let me do my math here. February, March, April. Yeah, I didn't do so good in math in school. April 2025 will be our spring edition. We'll be hitting the digital shelves, so be on the lookout for that. Manu, you got anything to
Nice.
add?
No, man, I'm just looking forward to getting back into this again. And yeah, I had to take some time off. Had a little ring here,
That's
so
right.
that was one of my reasons for taking some time off.
I was going to say I didn't want to throw too much of your personal life in there, but yeah, Manu is. I'm sorry, ladies, but that's not on the market anymore. You all missed your chance. You've had
Nope, there's your
many
chance.
many episodes to find this guy and shoot him a DM, and you missed the bus.
There
So,
you go.
all right, folks, y'all stay cool out there.